Yoshi 1 Kenobis, Bogles Snow Gods. In this deck, we play a bunch of god creatures and we try to make them indestructible, hexproof, trample, flying. Awesome. We just want to stack equipments and enchantments on those equipments or on those gods and use Tyrite Sanctum to make those god cards indestructible, as they should be, to then win the game with very powerful Selesnya gods. So let's go over some of the cards in this deck. Let's start with Tyrite Sanctum. We get to sacrifice Tyrite Sanctum and pay 4 to put an indestructible counter on target god, which will allow it to survive combat damage and probably still die to most removal spells, because most removal spells exile nowadays. But still, a very nice trick to play, and the main reason why we're playing god cards. Another reason we're playing god cards is for Jorn, God of Winter. Whenever Jorn attacks, you untap all the snow permanents you control, giving it a virtual hexproof, and giving you tons of mana whenever you have snowlands. And most of our lands are snowlands, as you can see, the snow-covered mountains, forest, and the Arctic Treeline. We're also playing Reidane, God of the Worthy, a 2/3 flying vigilance with attacks. And having these god vigilant creatures, first of all, synergize well with Tyrite Sanctum, but also having vigilance means that if we have this super powerful creature with lifelink, hopefully, then we get to gain a ton of life on the attack and have an impassable wall of defense. Then we're playing Halvar, God of Battle, because it's the Sword of Realms also. And when you cast the god side, it gives all your enchanted or equipped creatures double strike. And since half of our deck is enchantments and equipments, then it means our creatures have double strike. And as we've seen, double strike pretty good. We can agree on that. Then we're playing 4 copies of the Seasoned Hallowblade, the human warrior that's kind of like Hercules, since you discard a card and it's indestructible. It's actually the real indestructible god of this deck, but it's not actually a god card. Then we're playing 3 copies of Skyclave Apparition, 3 copies of Glass Casket. That's a removal. If you play something that these things can't exile, we can't deal with it. Well, we'll deal with it, but some other way. Mostly by combat. And how do we equip our mighty gods? We use the Shadowspear to give trample lifelink, +1/+1. We use the Mirror Shield to give our creatures hexproof. We use the Maul of the Skyclaves, which is really White's Embercleave. And we also play the Sword of the Realms to give vigilance +2/+0. And then we use the Runes of Sustenance and the Rune of Might to boost our equipments or to boost our creatures over the top. And if we're looking for another big boost spell, Blessing of the Frost will allow us to put 3 or 4 +1/+1 counters on target creature or split them, and we get to draw cards for each creature that has 4 power or greater. So it's essentially a permanent pump spell that draws us card. What's not to like? Also, I think that's Jorn. Yes, it's Jorn. Jorn sitting, Jorn standing. And we'd much rather have Jorn standing, wouldn't we? Now let's see this deck in action with some games. We are playing Boggle Gods on MTG Arena Standard against the Felix. This looks terrible. Let's keep it. Fabled Passage. Let's fetch a green source. Snow green. Passing the turn back. We have no creatures except Halvar against a Yorion pile. Should we scoop right away? Probably not. Let's play Mirror Shield. After all, it's only turn 2. And the opponent has played the Jawari Runes, which means 1 less counter spell in our opponent's hand. Wolfwillow Haven, which means their opponent is playing Sultai. Let's go with Rune of Might. Now our shield gives Death Touch Trample. Not Death Touch. Death Touch Kill and Hexproof and Trample. Opponent sees what we're doing. Opponent will blow up our Mirror Shield using Binding the Old Gods. That's my prediction. Hopefully they don't do that. Opponent cultivates the land. Alright, in which case we will Cast Halvar. Pass the turn back. I really want to Reidane and equip the Mirror Shield. That way the opponent can't ultimate him as easily as Sultai tends to ultimate him. And Sultai ultimatums in their sleep. Okay, well another Cultivate means that I probably can't stop it for very long. Opponent buys back Yorion. Alright, well, I don't think it's enough to stop the ultimatum. But we're gonna get Super Halvar. Hit you for a 6/6 double strike, lifelink, hexproof trample creature. Is it good enough? Is Halvar, the double strike trample hexproof lifelink, also whenever a creature with death touch blocks or becomes blocked, destroy that creature. As I was hovering over the card and our opponent cast an extinction event, which rendered it meaningless. But it's not over yet, because we get a cast Reidane. Hexproof Reidane. Stop this, opponent. Actually, please don't. It's kind of a cool Reidane. No extinction event. Finding the old gods, you're gonna get the shield. You don't get the Reidane. We can Maul and equip the Shadowspear. That's decent. Or we can Blessing of the Frost, pump it to 6 power. So the opponent can Yorion next turn. Bring back the Binding of the Gods. I think our best move is to Skyclave Apparition the Binding. So the opponent can flicker it with Yorion. Ah, I should have equipped the Shadowspear. That's a misplay. Misplay that's gonna cost me. But we still have the Reidane tax on. Alright. Opponent gets a 4/4. More mana for our opponent. Which means we go for the next god. Jorn, God of Winter. As we'll equip the Maul of the Skyclave on our God of Winter, then pass the turn back. How many gods can you kill? That's the name of the game. Hopefully this one survives. Unlikely, but I'm hopeful. Vorinclex. Alright. Opponent swings with a 6/6. You will take it. Opponent casts a defensive Yorion. Blinking Vorinclex. Fortunately, Vorinclex stops us from using Blessing of the Frost effectively. I'll crack the Fabled Passage for a snow-covered forest. We can Blessing of the Frost to draw. Unfortunately, it's only 2 counters. Equip the Shadowspear. We now have an 8/8 trampled lifelink Jorn that untaps all our mana. Well, almost all our mana. Opponent's down to 3. Can this god do it? And do we want to play a Seasoned Hallowblade? I think we do. Just in case there's another extinction event. Alright. And you can't beat it! The third Boggled God gets it done against Sultai Ultimatum. We're playing Boggled Gods on MTG Arena Standard against Metal Fox. Yoshi versus Fox. This might as well be a Super Smash game. And we are going to super smash our opponent using our Arctic Treeline. Bunch of nice trees, all in the snow, with a magical crystal shining above. So enough about the artwork of that card, and more about this Seasoned Hallowblade that's about to wreak havoc on your battlefield. Gruul symbols? Would you be one of those aggro players? Forst? Innkeeper? Gruul aggro is the likely scenario. Let's open up with a Hallowblade and see what's up. Gruul doesn't have a good way to deal with a Hallowblade. He can force us to tap it. Alright, well, let's build the ultimate Sword of the Realms. Innkeeper is dangerous. I'll offer to trade. Discard a Skyclave Apparition. Discard Reidane. Roll in on the Hallowblade. Yeah, you got 2 cards, but I got the Innkeeper, which is worth like 10 cards at least. You just cast the Bone Crusher Giant? I see you want to. Opponent plays another Innkeeper, as well as an Ooze. 3 creatures in a graveyard. Ooze is problematic. Let's play the Rune of Might on the sword. Try to hit a land. Halvar is not the worst thing. Giving our Seasoned Hallowblade double strike with the trample and the lifelink is going to prove to be devastating if we ever reach 4 lands. Can throw away the Blessing of the Frost, no problem now. Next turn we'll have to equip the sword though. Opponent does not have enough red mana to Ember Cleave. 2 green for the Ooze, so we can't block the Ooze. Opponent's taking a long time thinking about these moves. Huh, I guess it gives us time to think about ours. Shatter Skull Smashing, Questing Beast. Okay. That's a thing. Attacking with just the Questing Beast. And no blocks. Draw land. Equip the Hallowblade and attack with the Hallowblade. Opponent blocks with the Ooze. We'll sack the Blessing of the Frost. You do have to tap to do that though. Oh well. Play this on white and pass the turn back. If we have to discard to protect the Hallowblade, we're discarding the Rune of Might. Because we're gonna need the lifelink. Landing Halvar would be great. Brushfire Elemental, Fabled Passage. There's always a Fabled Passage. Shatter Skull Smashing. Opponent dips down low. Swings for 7. Make it 8. And goes big with a left strike beast. Alright, well, Skyclave Apparition allows us to exile one thing. But one thing only. Well, let's open up with the obvious. Attack with the Hallowblade. Although equipping the Rune of Sustenance might have been a good play too. Because now we're dead to Embercleave. Discard Rune of Might. Oh yeah, and we have to tap. I have to stop forgetting we need to tap. Well, I need to exile the left strike beast. That is the turn back. Opponent's down to 8. Ugh. There's no other way to describe this. There's just awful. Opponent swings for 1. At the very least, the enchantment is on the equipment. So we get to re-equip the sword on the Skyclave Apparition. And put a Rune of Sustenance on it. On the sword. Because the pile of cards that we have is not getting complicated enough. We draw a card. Hit you with the 5/3 Trample Vigilance Lifelinker. Pass the turn back. My creatures are forced to attack, and then its tapped creatures deal damage to itself. And Vigilance is quite helpful at preventing our creatures from tapping. Opponent plays the Bone Crusher Giant. Fabled Passage. Cracks it. Vigilance, Trample, Lifelink. We do not have Double Strike. The opponent attacks with the... Oh, opponent doesn't have Double Red. We're good. I think we have game. If we do not block. We'll take 8. Maybe there's 2 points of damage hidden somewhere, which would be fine. And then we Halvar, that's double striking for 10 trample. The opponent can't block this. Or maybe the opponent can. Alright, well, Halvar, God of Battle, enters the battlefield anyways. You still have Double Strike. We have to attack. That will lifelink so much life out of this. You have to double block with Bone Crusher Giant and the Kazandu Mammoth, I think. That's also an acceptable option. And that's how we do it. With a super powerful Hallowblade that passed its superpowers to the Skyclave Apparition, and then the God of Battle just said, go ahead and win. And so we did. We are playing Boggle Gods on MTG Arena Standard against Talugor. Alright. A lot of white. Looks like this is a white weenies hand. We'll keep it. White weenies are good, right? Come on, opponent. You know you want to keep. Snow-covered plains passing the Jorn. Ooh, Azorius. Okay, cycling opponent. We need to deal with that immediately. Then pass the turn back. I guess Hallowblade might have been slightly better. Force the opponent to cycle a few cards into the Fox. Triumph. We're going with a Seasoned Hallowblade. And we'll play the Arctic Treeline to ensure that we have our green sources. Because we didn't really want to play Maul of the Skyclave onto no creature. Opponent plays a Valiant Rescuer. Cycles a Footfall Crater. Makes a 1/1. Passing back to us. Let's play this on green. We can Maul the Seasoned Hallowblade. And then we have 2 hits once we have Halvar on the battlefield. Hit you. 5 in the air, always threatening. Doesn't matter which deck. Opponent plays a Fabled Pathway. Ironcrag Pyromancer. Cycles a card. Yeah, the addition of the Pyromancer to the deck is making quite a big difference. Targeting me? Alright. I'll take 4. Back to us. Let's play Halvar. God of Battle. Don't really need to play the land. Ten in the air. Pass the turn back. Let's bring the weapon to Halvar. Opponent brings us. 1, 2, 3, 4, Zenith Flare. Opponent's up to 9. The equipment stays on the Hallowblade. And we have Lethal. Snow, snow, snow. Blessings of the Frost. And that is 9 in the air. With our Seasoned Hallowblade. And that's how we get it done. With a Seasoned Hallowblade that's too big for its own good. We are playing Boggle Gods on MTG Arena Standard against the Primordial Squid. Not sure I want to see what that Primordial Squid looks like. Opponent's playing a Yorion pile. And we have a Hallowblade and a bunch of runes. Jorn's always nice. Except their opponent's probably playing Sultai Yorion with 25 million removal spells. And ultimatums. You've seen the deck, you've lost to it. Unless you're a mono red player, in which case you've seen the deck and you've laughed in its face. Kinda goes both ways. Let's play our Tyrite Sanctum for a second creature in play. And attack. Sultai indeed. Alright, another Tyrite Sanctum. We could make Jorn indestructible. It's always nice. Or we can go Rune of Might on the Seasoned Hallowblade. What are the odds that our opponent has a removal spell? Problem is we need to make our decision beforehand. Let's go white. Move to combat. Attack with both. Jorn triggers. Take the Snowlands. Make Jorn indestructible. Opponent didn't have the removal spell. And pass the turn back. Opponent Almonds of the Sea. Problem is indestructibility doesn't help us against about half of the removal. Even a Heartless Act can remove the indestructible counter. But the opponent can't kill it with. There must be at least one kill spell that we're preventing. Yeah, the one that deals damage to creatures with power 3 or less. Or destroys creatures with power 3 or less. Converted mana cost 2 or less. I'll get it eventually. Rune of Might on Jorn. Another Tyrite Sanctum. Eliminate! Thank you! That's what I was looking for. You can't eliminate Jorn. So the indestructibility did do something. Excellent. Hit you for 4. Rune of Sustenance, Jorn. Mostly to draw a card. Opponent's on 5 mana, so he shouldn't be getting ultimatum next turn. Let's Rune of Sustenance the Hallowblade. So I'll have 2 double striker attackers next turn if we get to cast Halvar. Opponent scries in a sign of desperation. No scry to the top. Alright. Shadow's Verdict is the worst here. Come on, no Shadow's Verdict. Extinction Event? Okay, probably going odd. Which does get to kill our Jorn. I think we go Mirror Shield on the Hallowblade, or do we just go Halvar? All in. All in. Hit you for 6, lifelinking. Fortunately, we needed 1 more mana to put the Rune of Might to be lethal. And now we're getting ultimatumed. Double blue, double black. Or worse, gonna get Extinction Event. So not only do we not lose immediately, but we'll lose in a few turns now. Opponent will buy Yorion, or not. Alright, I'll play the Mirror Shield. Opponent didn't like the Mirror Shield. Okay. We'll Rune of Might the Arctic Treeline to draw card. Well, digs us closer to something that'll be able to deal with our opponent's last point of damn. No. And this is the end. Pretty much. What do you fetch? Valky, Hero Best the Sea God, and Aldrin's Epiphany? 3-on-3. Alright, well, the extra turn's too much. I'm not sure I can deal with these two, but probably not. Let's get ourselves one more draw step.
Trickery is just share in my pain.
Seasoned Hallowblade. Probably it gets tabbed by Kira. No, we can't get out of this. Opponent's at 1, but 1's just one too much. We are playing Boggle Gods on MTG Arena Standard against Zizu. We have 2 lands and 3 Reidanes. Quite awkward. Let's keep it. We have a Glass Casket for defense, a Seasoned Hallowblade, now Halvar. Many cards that we cannot play yet, but hopefully we'll draw land next 2 turns and be all set. Well, we just found a use for one of our Reidanes. Throwing it to the garbage can. Seasoned Hallowblade time. Passing the turn back to our Rakdos opponent. Haven't seen much Rakdos lately. And now's the Woe Strider. And his famous goat. We will exile said Woe Strider. And then we'll attack with our Seasoned Hallowblade. If to combat, swing! And the goat gets butchered. As we pass the turn back to Mr. Croxa. Opponent plays the Temple of Malice to scry. To the bottom, that's good. Timret, well I guess it didn't really matter. 3 cards. Opponent can't quite cast Croxa yet. Back to our turn. We draw a Tyrite Sanctum. Alright, that's good. So opponent's gonna Croxa next turn. Which means we'll Skyclave Apparition to Croxa in response. And there were no creature hits. So the opponent didn't want to use Timuret. So we dodged the 2/2 is what I'm saying. I have 2 snowlands. Let's go with Jorn. The God of Winter. Oh no, we don't have double white. Yeah, that's gonna be a problem. Opponent Woe Striders. So opponent didn't want to Croxa quite yet. Clean the Firstborn. That's annoying. Thankfully our opponent picked the Hallowblade and not Jorn. Yeah, I'll take the 3 points of damage. You get to sack it. What do we do here? I think we made Jorn indestructible. Go to combat. Attack with Jorn. Jorn triggers. Tap for white, tap for green. Jorn resolves. Activate Tyrite Sanctum. And Jorn has ascended to a true god. Indestructible. Opponent blocks with a goat. And let's hope that our opponent doesn't have any more Claim the Firstborn. Because we just sacrificed one of our 3 lands for this. Which was probably a bad idea. I suspect that our opponent just top decked. They claim the Firstborn. Yeah, sounds about right. Goodbye, God of Snow. I get to play Seasoned Hallowblade. We're not dead. Not great, but not dead. Bruno Croxa will sack a Reidane. We'll sack a Reidane right now to protect our Hallowblade. Take 5. Bruno Croxa. This is very sketchy territory. Question is, what do we discard? I think we'll discard Reidane again. My opponent doesn't go for Croxa. I'm surprised. Now we don't have enough mana to do anything. Could Rune of Sustenance. Alright, we're not dead. So let's keep on playing. That's a removal spell, and now we are dead. Oh, we got Mood an indestructible counter on Jorn. If only our opponent couldn't steal it. We are playing Boggle Gods on MTG Arena Standard against Massive. So I guess that player is playing Stumpy. This is odd because of lack of green, but we'll keep it anyways. Alright, here's our green source. This was our Seasoned Hallowblade. Opponent's playing Orzhov, or maybe Esper. Hard to tell these days. Attempting to eliminate the Hallowblade. We'll stop that. Discarding a Tyrite Sanctum. The opponent does prevent the damage. We'll play Reidane, as it stops the board wipes. It'll give our opponent a second target. So if the opponent wants to play something proactive, then we'll get to activate the ultimate sword. But I wanted to win with Tyrite Sanctum. Alright. We'll do this the old-fashioned way with the Sword of the Realms. Sword of the Realms. Reidane now has a proper weapon. Hit you for 7. Has the turn back. When cracking that Fabled Passage. Looking at that extinction event with some crying eyes. Because of Reidane. And it costs 6 now. Solemn Simulacrum. Well, this is an Ugin pile, probably. Alright, well. Time to make that sword longer and stronger. It's very soon gonna be a Sephiroth level sword with lifelink. Hit you for 5. Lifelink. Has a turn back. Now with the Maul of the Skyclave, We'll have lethal potential with the Hallowblade and Reidane next turn. Our opponent doesn't do anything with their 6 points of mana, which is very unlikely. Fun swings. I'll accept. Did you just want to draw the card? It does feel like a bad move to block, but it's so tempting. I mean, we gained 5 life and get rid of the creature. Now the opponent's likely gonna try to board wipe. Now the best board wipe is Extinction Event on 6 with Reidane, and it doesn't hit both our creatures. Lily. Okay.
The best thing about zombies is their adoring obedience.
You get to return Reidane to my hand.
You can scream if it hurts too much.
So that thing gives +3. I think we can just make the Hallowblade lethal. Our Boggled Hallowblade. In the end, it's not the god that wins us the game, but the human. That seems to plot like pretty much any movie that includes gods and humans. But it allows us to win with our boggled creatures. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe. It won't cost you any mana, and it greatly helps to support this channel and keep the awesome videos coming. Until next time, may the fun be with you.